Hey, good morning, everybody, and happy first day of open enrollment. I don't expect this one to get a ton of people on the live feed, given the timing here. If it being the first day of open enrollment, hopefully you guys are working, you're on the phones, you're selling. But I wanted to just give a little bit of a State of the Union address. Right, the first day of open enrollment's upon us. We've got a long 75 days ahead of us, but there's a couple of things on my mind this morning that I share with my team that I also want to share with you. As we go into the busiest time of year, right? So it is open enrollment, and we all know what that means. But the first thing that I want to share with you guys is probably the opposite of what you're thinking, right? You would probably think that I'm going to hype you up and that we've got to get motivated and we've got to go after it with everything we've got. And, today is different than every other day. And it's open enrollment, which is, the time to go after it. We put a lot of attention, a lot of hype. We put a lot of energy behind this idea of open enrollment. But what I want to share with you is that today and the next 75 days are no different than any other day in this business, right? It is our duty, our job to get out there to help people. And today is no different, right? It may be a little bit busier for some, and for others, it may be the exact same, right? You may be thinking to yourself after today, or even after this week, you may be thinking to yourself, I don't understand. Everything was all hyped up about open enrollment, and now I'm not, my phone's not ringing off the hook. It doesn't feel any different. I'm not talking to any more people. I'm not, I didn't close any more sales than I typically do. There are others that are like, hey, I can't even keep up. I've got so many people calling me. I'm so blown up. Those individuals have been in business for a while, right? Today is no different than any other day, right? That's the first point that I want to share with you, right? Today is just another day in the life, right? Another day in the life of a health insurance broker, right? Or a health insurance hustler. And then the second thing that I want to share with you guys is product positioning, right? In this open enrollment period, it is so important to properly position your products, right? If you are selling ACA, you've got to position it with supplemental, right? You have to position it. It doesn't come as an afterthought, right? So when you're pitching, when you're discussing, when you're you're talking to your client about the coverage you're building, right? It is a comprehensive package, right? It is a bundle, if you will, right? And it's not an afterthought. It comes with this stuff. Okay. You can't legally say that you can't sell it without, but hey, every one of my clients, we like to build a package like this, right? A comprehensive package that includes accident and critical illness and so on and so forth. If you're selling private health insurance, right? If you're selling short-term medical, if you're selling for a captive agency, whatever it might be, how you position your product is going to be extremely important. And what I mean by that is, if we're comparing, an ACA plan against a private option, and that ACA plan is, let's just say, $100 cheaper, it doesn't always mean that that's the best option. The example that I have and I used this morning was the client that I helped on Friday, who is retired and withdraws from her 401k. So she does have a very stable income, did qualify for somewhat of a subsidy. And that subsidy would have made her premium about $100 cheaper than the short-term medical that we sold her. Completely healthy, no pre-existing conditions, no medications. In fact, stated, I hate Obamacare. I don't want Obamacare, but I explained to her that, hey, listen, Obamacare is kind of just a political term. The major medical coverage on the marketplace would be $700 a month. Turns out she does a ton of traveling, right? She's retired. She doesn't have any reason not to travel, right? So she is doing a lot of traveling. The NatGen PPO plan was $100 more expensive with the supplemental coverage and all built in, but it's a PPO. Travels with her. She wasn't enthused about the fact that it doesn't cover her wellness 100%. But when I shared the good, the bad, and the ugly of both plans, it made a lot more sense to go with a plan that she had nationwide coverage, even though it was more expensive. And so my message to you is simple. One, okay, it's just another day. Every single day, this open enrollment period is just another day in the business. Don't get yourself into a state of, feeling frantic, feeling like you're behind, feeling like you need to do more, because we're all going to feel that. We're all going to experience that. In fact, I'm already seeing some people saying that they feel like they're behind. They feel like they're not prepared, and that's okay, right? It's just another day. And two, just because it's free or just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it's better. Position your products properly so that you can make that sale, right? If you position a cheap ACA plan against the higher cost option, they're going to take the cheaper plan every single time if you're not highlighting the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Right? The good and the ugly. It's important to share those the good things and the bad things about the product, and make sure that you're selling a comprehensive package in order to make a lot of money, right? But two, and most importantly, to protect your client. We've got 75 days. It's a marathon this year, not a sprint, right? As Justin Brock says, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Let's make the most of it, but let's do it having fun, right? Let's do it. Let's make it enjoyable. Don't work yourself into, a state of chaos, right? Just take it one day at a time. Let's make the most of it. Let's make a bunch of money. Let's help a bunch of people. We got 75 days. I'll be seeing you. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear the successes. I want to hear the wins. In fact, we'll also be sharing some of our wins from the team, and we're just excited to be able to take part and to be a resource for you this open enrollment. Use the Facebook group Health Insurance Hustlers as a resource, right? Your leader may not be as available this time of year. Use each other. This community is great. I love that we've created such a sharing community. Let's share the wins. Let's share the good, the bad, the ugly of our day-to-day as well. And I'll be seeing you guys around.